What's going on, crypto sports fans? My name is Clay Albright with EOS USA, and today I'm interviewing a group called BlockBase. Let's see what they have to say about the storage of databases on blockchain.
The BlockBase idea started I don't know, 3 years ago, something like that, three and a half years ago. This was 2016. Yeah, so Ethereum was going crazy at the time. Everyone wanted to do smart contracts. And one thing that's popped into my mind, this would be very interesting to, instead of doing full smart contracts on blockchain, it would be very interesting to just store databases on blockchain. This is when the idea came to me. And then sometime later, we applied for funding. So we ran a European program for funding. It's called Portugal 2020. That's a branch from Horizon 20. And Horizon 2020 is a European funding program for research in Europe. So we applied for funding in 2017, I think. It takes a lot of time to prepare the documents, a very, very large document that you have to submit. And eventually it's either approved or rejected, and we were approved. So it's very hard to be approved in these types of programs. It's like 5% of approval rate. And yeah, we won. And then in October 2018, we started developments. And now we've got more than 1 year of developing BlockBase. So now we're here. Yeah. So that's the simple story of everything. And yeah, and BlockBase isn't a smart contract platform. It's a platform for storage of databases. So the thing here is sometimes you don't need a smart contract to do the operations for you. You just need a way to store information. So let's say you've got a smart contract that's a calculator that does operations for you, like sum and multiplication and so forth. Perhaps you don't need to do the calculation on blockchain. Perhaps you just need to do, okay, this was the operation and the result was this. And everyone can check it and see if it's correct or not. Okay, so many times you don't need to have the operations on blockchain. That's the basic concept of BlockBases. Instead of having full smart contracts running on blockchain, is to store data on blockchain, any type of data. That's the basic concept of BlockBases. Instead of having full smart contracts running on blockchain, is to store data on blockchain, any type of data.
Could this be applied to essentially any business with a current database could then utilize this for security and protection and for everything else that the blockchain offers?
You can put any type of data structure on BlockBase. So it can be used for accounting data, for medical data, for voting, for any type of thing that you want to put on blockchain because you want to have another level of security for your data. Because the thing is, when you have data on a traditional database, well, a traditional database isn't secure, but you can add layers of security to it. You can add user policies, you can add firewalls around it, you can train people to use the system right, so you can have layers of security, but it's not a real security, real security, because the guys who are working with all those systems are the guys who have access to it and can change it if they want it. When you've got very important information, for example, information relating to the citizens or government operations and so forth, that data can be manipulated, like deleted or changed, in the benefit of the few, right? So when you put this on a blockchain, basically what BlockBase does, it stores the whole history of operations you do on a database. So insert operations, update operations, delete operations, everything gets logged on blockchain. And when you do that, you in fact never delete a record. You have an operation that states, okay, this record was deleted, but it never disappears. You know, you registered the operation of deletion. So you never remove information, you just append information.
Yeah.
And so you have a log of everything that was done on the data. It cannot be changed because since it's a distributed system and it's run by a lot of nodes around the world, it's incorruptible from that point of view.
Well, where are you guys at now in your process? Have you is the product out where everybody can use it?
Not yet. We're still in testing.
Okay.
So right now we have an alpha product running on the testnet, the EOSIO Jungletest Net, the Jungletest Net.
Anyone can just see our code. We have it's open source on GitHub. We're basically testing the consensus right now because so how does BlockBase work? We had the idea from the very beginning that we didn't need to store all the transactions for the database transactions on the main chain. So we for each database we built sidechains. So say you need a database on our service. What you're going to do is you're going to say, I want 20 nodes producing a sidechain that will store my database, my data. And then those 20 nodes will build a sidechain to the main chain and will store all the transactions related to your database. So that's the main idea. And right now we're testing the consensus from those nodes on the Jungletest Net.
So will somebody be able to take their current database and use your software to put it to link it to the blockchain, or will they have to start over with a new database but on your blockchain?
Since this is a very different process, right? Storing databases on a blockchain, the way we see it is that the block-based database can exist alongside the traditional database.
To add here some information, so when usually you connect an application to a database, you have to have like some type of connection to the database, and then you push queries there, right? So we have also a SQL language that's very, very, very similar to SQL, almost equal. It has only some little syntax artifacts in the language extra that are required to encrypt the data. So since the databases are stored in servers, you don't know who they belong to because it's distributed, probably you want to encrypt your data, right? So we've got encryption built in for every database you store there. So you can have public databases if you so wish, but from the design, everything you put on BlockBase is encrypted by default. But the language, the querying language, the SQL language is very, 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 very similar to SQL. So if you have an application that uses, instead of using something more fancy like it's a technical term or RM or something that abstracts you from the database, if you run something more bare bones like SQL commands directly in your code, you can migrate to BlockBase very, very, very easily. Yeah, but the concept then is different because it's not the same as a database, but we are trying to make it as similar from the development point of view for the developer as similar to a traditional database. People confuse BlockBase with file storage, distributed file storage. We don't do file storage. We do data storage, database storage specifically. Our service is also designed to be very similar to what you would expect from a cloud service. So it's you pay a fee to use the service, and the service providers that apply to service your sidechain receive your payments. So instead of having a centralized cloud solution provided by a Google or an Amazon or so forth, you have a distributed cloud solution where you pay the guys who are providing it to you from everywhere in the world. So
what are we looking at here?
Okay, so you're seeing my screen, right?
Yes.
So this is the tracker we're building, so it can to help people visualize what's happening on our products. So we can see the value of our token, how many service requesters there are, service providers, the values, how much you'll get for working on BlockBase, and the list of sidechains that exist right now. So right now we have two sidechains running on the testnet. You can see them here. We have a list of the blocks that are producing. So these are the tests we're running right now on Jungletest. And
Very
you
good.
can see all kind of information you want from the sidechain. This is something that's online right now. Anyone can see it. Anyone can test it. So let me just say that if anyone wants to run a BlockBase node, just stop by our Telegram group and we'll help you set you up.
Okay. And so BBT is the BlockBase token?
Yes.
And did you guys do a token launch or an airdrop, or how does that work?
So we're doing air grabs right now. So
okay.
Anyone that wants to join the air grab, they're still on time to get the token.
There is still time.
Yes.
Okay. When is that? And when does the air grab end?
In 2022, I think. It's 24 months of the air grab thing is a whole different history. We're fighting spam bots and so forth, registering on the air grab. It's really, really hard, but I think we've managed to distribute the token to a lot of real accounts, and yeah, a lot of crazy things happened on the air grab, and it gave us an opportunity to see what really happens inside EOS was very interesting. But yeah, so it's a 24-month air grab. Each air grab distributes 1/7 of the remaining tokens to distribute, and those are 45% of all tokens. So the first air grab, it's 24 monthly air grabs. The first air grab distributed about 6.4 million, the second 5.5 million, the third 4.7 million. This one will be 4 million, and it will be keep on reducing and reducing and reducing.
So we're planning on having something concrete so people can test how our databases work. So we're not sure when we're going to have that. But
we're pushing to have what Diogo is talking about is something that we are working on the site, and you can navigate to there to the sandbox.
So
it's not ready for usage yet. We haven't built a LinkedIn link in the site yet, but this will be available soon. So what is this? This is like a typical interface to manage your database, and it allows you to execute queries to BlockBase, to your sidechain. So the table you see in the middle, that's actual data that was encrypted by our system, and that is being stored. Currently, it's not being stored. This is dummy data at the moment. This isn't working yet, but we are pushing to have this ready very, very soon. And I say very, very soon is in a couple of weeks at the most. It will be ready. And why are we doing this? So anyone that has technical capabilities and has worked with SQL before, he will be very, very familiar with this interface, and it will make a lot of sense to him. It's also very, very good to show, to demystify what BlockBase is. So when one goes here, this is a sandbox, so he can create his databases, he can add records and so forth, query and so forth, and then we just delete the data every week or something like that.
What size database? I mean, is there a limit? How much data someone can store?
That's a very good question. So one thing that Diego said, and I would like to point out again, is that so we are running sidechains to the main chain, and that means that not everything is stored on the main chain. And the reason we do that is so you can have more scalability. And each sidechain is configurable. So you can say you want to have sidechain with one producer or 20 producers or whatever you want, and you will pay for that. So if you want to have a lot of producers, you'll have to pay more for that. And when you issue the request, you also are stating how much you're going to pay per block to the service providers, so they understand how much they will make for producing your blocks. And in a sense, you're stating how long you want the chain to be and how long you want the database maximum size to be somewhat. Okay. So in fact, there isn't a limit per se. It just will get more costly for you as a service requester, because since it's on a side chain, it doesn't what's the word? It doesn't create a bottleneck on the main chain.
Now, when I am not a programmer, but I'm a heck of a computer user, is this something where I could go in and create a small database on my own without having an existing one and just use this?
So we're planning on making it as user-friendly as possible. So one of our plans in the future is that we will have a service, our own service, where we just create the database for you. We'll make the requests. We'll run the nodes software for you, and you don't need to worry about setting anything up. Just give us the settings you want, and we'll do it for you. So that's a plan for the future.
Man, that's cool.
But if you're computer savvy and you want to run your own the nodes on your own, we'll have all the instructions you need to run it as well. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this version here is more bare bones. This is for the guys who understand the SQL query.
Right. Man, this is good stuff, guys. This is great. What else can you tell me, or was there anything else you want to squeeze in?
I think we touched most of the most important points. If there's another topic we could talk about that perhaps is interesting, is the air grabs thing. I don't know if it's interesting or not, our experience in doing the air grabs, but it definitely was interesting for us. And just in short, we started our air grab in October 8th. And our air grab was designed to have any account, any EOS account registered. It didn't have any rules. And people started saying, okay, but what happens when you have like 100 accounts? And we were considering that situation, and we had something planned ahead for that. But then, so when the air grab started, we developed code to try to detect multiple registrations by the same guy, basically. And the account doesn't reveal that information, but since everything is on blockchain, you can do blockchain analysis and you can try to figure it out. On the first air grab, the first monthly air grab, we had one guy that registered with 3,000 accounts, multiple guys that registered with 2,000 accounts, 1.5K accounts, and so forth, like thousands and thousands and thousands of it. Yeah, really.
Wow.
Then we've been developing and polishing our analysis code that has taken us a lot of time that we could have focused specifically on the product only, but we had to make the air grabs work. And we've got all that code, and we are considering we're considering two possibilities. One is to open source the code, and the other one is sell this like this as a service. So when you've got an air grab and you want to see if it's has a lot of spam accounts, you can run it through our analysis.
Yeah.
A lot of fake accounts. So there's another thing I want to mention that it's not related to the air grabs, but it's important for people to know. So there's a fake BlockBase website.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there's the BlockBase website is blockbase.network. That's the website you saw. But there's a fake BlockBase website called blocksbase.network. And yeah, it appeared like in November or December or something like that. And if you try to,
it was just as we were starting the air grab, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's the website is in Russia, the domain is in United States, something crazy.
Man. Okay. So yeah, that's important. We'll make sure that gets the clip.
But this is
not BlockBase.
Exactly. But this is the interesting part of doing this type of projects, because you're exposed to the world and to all the shenanigans that happen in the world. It's very, very, we like it. It's very, very interesting.
I can't much. I appreciate you sharing this with me. And in the future, when you guys come out, I think you mentioned a couple weeks from now, there might be some things down the road if you want to get back together and touch base, like
Sure.
anytime.
That would be great, yeah.